जय श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की, जय श्री गौरनिताय की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नाष्टप्रयेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Okay, today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Verse 6. Rajnam Vritim Kharadana Dhanda Sulkhadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Vyajena Visasarja Ha Rajnam Vritir Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Vyajena Vishasharjaha Rajnam Vritim Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Vyajena Vishashargaha Rajnam Vritir Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Vijena Vishasharjaha Rajnam Vritir Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Satra Rajnam Vritim Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Ajena Vishasharjaha Rajnam Vritir Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Satra Vijena Vishasarjaha Rajnam Vritir Kharadhana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Shatra Vijena Vishasharjaha. Rajnam. She wants to try? It's okay? Rajnam Vitirkaradana Danda Sulkadi Darunam Manyamano Dirga Satra Vyajena Vishasharjaha. Right? Rajnam of the kings, Vritim, source of livelihood, Kara, taxes, Adana, realization, Danda, punishment, Sulka, fines, Adi, etc. Darunam, which are very severe. Manyamana, thinking like that. Dirga, long. Shatra, sacrifice. Vyajena, on the plea. Vishasharga, gave up. Ha, in the past. Translation. Whenever Antardhāna, the supreme royal power, had to exact taxes, punish his citizens, or fine them severely, he was not willing to do so. Consequently, he retired from the execution of such duties and engaged himself in the performance of different sacrifices. Purport. It is clear herein that the king sometimes has to perform duties which are not very desirable just because he is the king. Similarly, Arjuna was not at all willing to fight because fighting or killing one's own kinsmen and family members is not at all desirable. Nonetheless, the Kshatriyas had to perform such undesirable actions as a matter of duty. Maharaj Antardhāna was not very happy while exacting taxes or punishing the citizens for their criminal activities. Therefore, on the plea of performing sacrifices, he retired from the royal majestic power at a very early age. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from this chapter, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. The purport says, and Prabhupada explains there, that this verse shows that king sometimes has to perform duties which are unpleasant or undesirable simply because of his role as a king. And we also see that he is quoting references of Arjuna, who is unwilling to fight with his kinsmen or relatives in the Kurukshetra war. And King Antardhāna was not happy when it came to collecting taxes or administering harsh punishments or levying fines on his subjects. Instead, he chose to excuse himself to perform long sacrifices and ritual duties. we also see that Antardhāna withdrew himself from those harsh functions and he started devoting himself to this sacrificial activity. Now, who is King Antardhāna? He is the son of King Prithu Maharaj, right? He is the eldest son of King Prithu Maharaj. He was actually, his name is Vijit Tasva, and he, after pleasing Indra, he got this name Antardhāna, right? And how is this king? He's also inherited nice qualities or divine qualities from his father. So he is also compassionate. He is also spiritually conscious, and he is also very humble person, right? And we see that he is also finding it hard to be harsh on his subjects. So many times we see that people who are really qualified don't actually want to perform certain tasks because they feel that it is undesirable to perform heavy tasks. And we can see Srila Prabhupada quoting the example of Arjuna wanting to leave the battlefield. Arjuna is also a great warrior. He is such a valiant fighter. He is respected, he is admired for his archery and his brave qualities. But in the Kurukshetra war, he wants to flee. Why? Because he requests Arjuna to take him in the middle of the battlefield. He sees who's assembled in the battle to fight, for him to fight against. And he sees all his close relatives, his friends and family, his gurus are all assembled there. So then he feels rejected. So he's like, even if I fight against these people, even if I win the war, what remains is the death and suffering. So seeing that, he found that he should not fight against them. So for him it was an undesirous activity to do. Similarly, when King Antardhāna saw that the subjects were working very hard, so you can see that the Vaishyas who are actually protecting the cows, they are doing so many projects, they are creating so many products. It could be like they are cultivating grains, it could be that they are distributing milk products, it could be that they are doing some other businesses, whatnot, right? But all their hard work is invested, and hence when it comes to the king putting a heavy duty and giving taxes, it becomes very hard for King Antardhāna because he knows how much of effort these Vaishyas have put. And to suddenly go and grab all their money, all their hard work, he feels it doesn't suit him. So many situations in our life are sometimes undesirous for us, right? So is it that we have to, or is it that it's every time going to be green? All situations are going to be pleasant for us? It's material world, right? So we have to face the truth. So material world will always have its own ups and downs. Material world will always cause us trouble. So what are we to do? We have to give ourselves that opportunity to face the problem, and rather we should not run away from the situation. And so Prabhupada actually says what Arjuna feels during the situation in the battlefield. Are you feeling the echo? So Arjuna's body in the battlefield begins to tremble. His bow slips off his hands, his skin starts to burn, and he's sweating in anxiety. He was completely displaced. So he approaches Krishna and mentions, what do you want me to do? I'm really ready to leave the battlefield. I can't just fight against my own kinsmen. I grew up with them. How can I fight against them? So Bhagavad Gita gives a verse, Nacha saknomi avashtatum Brahmatiya chame manaha nimittani cha pashyami vipartani Keshava. Chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, verse 30. Arjuna says, I'm now unable to stand here any longer. I'm forgetting myself and my mind is reeling and I see only causes of misfortune, O Krishna, O killer of KC demon. So we need to understand that not all situations in our life are desirable, right? Do we desire for earthquakes to happen? Do we desire for floods to occur? Or do we desire for our near and dear ones to pass away? No, right? Do we also desire for our body to age and get old and be diseased? No. But so Prabhupada says these threefold miseries, like Adi Devika, the miseries caused by higher powers, or Adi Bhautika, miseries caused by other living entities, or Adhyatmika, miseries caused by one's own body and mind, will always be there. Can we escape? Just because I am a king or just because I am a prime minister, can I escape any of this? We all were faced with the miseries, threefold miseries of life, right? So King Antardhāna is also facing the misery of collecting taxes, punishing his subjects, and he does. Whoever is doing criminal activities only he's punishing, but still he feels compassionate for them. He feels that he should not be doing that. So similarly, Arjuna doesn't want to fight his own relatives and family because he knows what is waiting after the war. So it is death or suffering of his relatives only that he is able to see. So he wants to run away from the battlefield. Could we share some examples of what is undesirous in our day-to-day activities? Okay, for a kid, it could be like they might not desire to study, right? They want to always watch iPad. For a grown-up or for a youth, it could be that getting up early in the morning or doing the daily chores could be hard, undesirous. For people who are starting to go to office, it might be that day in and day out seeing the same boss, getting scoldings from the same people might be hard, right? So for a mother, what could be undesirable? Daily chastising the kids, feeling bad after chastising. And for a father, it could be like he's also doing the routine work. It could be monotonous. It could be undesiring, right? So, is there anything that we don't desire? Can we share? Yes, Prabhu. Assignment. Yes, don't do assignments. Undesirable, right? Anything else, Mataji? Dipti, you want to? Too much work, yes. Undesirable, yes. Less time. Yeah, we need more time, yeah? All right. Yeah, more examples. Everything we do day in and day out, we have a lot of things to not desire for. Right? We have to face people whom we don't like. We have to show up where we don't like. We have to clean which we don't like to. So many things, right? So it's not that the pasture is always green. Huh? And so what do people who are having these things in their mind think of? So if I say something is undesirable, so is it because I'm weak that I'm thinking like that? Yeah? Can we say so? Think about Arjuna. Why is he saying he wants to run out of the battlefield? Why doesn't he want to do that job? For the moment, it's not making him happy. He doesn't want, so many things in our life, it doesn't make us happy, so we don't want to do it. So what are we expecting from life? That we should always be happy. We should always be pleased. Right? People in mode of ignorance or people in mode of passion actually think that My life should always be beautiful. My life should be a bed of roses. So then what do we have to do then? So in the mode of goodness, or people in the mode of pure goodness, think of this material life as it is. They know, yes, good and bad will be there in this material world. I have to face it. So Krishna in chapter 1 asks Arjuna to face the battle, to face his friends and family, fight it, right? He doesn't say, yeah, Arjuna, it's hard. Go away from the battlefield. Don't do it. Does he say that? No. We have to identify what are those undesirous activities, list it out, right? We should not think that world is utopia. We should not think like everything will be given to us in a plate. We have to work for it, right? We always try to make minor adjustments. If we are faced with problems, we think, okay, not today, tomorrow. And let's say, if we have to face our fear, then we're like, okay, not postpone it, or those things that we don't want to do, we always have some excuse. We will say, okay, I don't have time for it today. Maybe today I don't feel like it, or we might say, I have better things to do, or there are so many excuses we can give for not acting upon those undesirous activities. So why do we turn our back towards those things? It is because of our ignorance that we turn our back towards those activities, or it is because of our passion that we don't turn ourselves to undesirous activities. But should we do undesirous activities? As a matter of duty. Here King Antardhāna is asked to do it because he's a king. So we have to do it as a matter of duty. So let's try to keep ourselves in the mode of goodness to see the material world for what it is. Right? We accept that things are not very great, but we decide to face it and live through it. Most of the time what happens is we desire for happiness and we don't see the processes in which happiness is obtained. So what is it, the process in which happiness can be obtained? Should we look out outside? Should we look out, okay, this place will make me happy? Okay, this person will make me happy? Or my parents will make me happy? Or my kids will make me happy? Should we look at external or should we look for internal? How? What is the process? We should look inside ourselves to fetch that happiness within us. How do we do that? So we have learned in Bhagavad Gita that most of the times we suffer because of our anarthas within us, right? So let's face it. So let's say, for example, let's say the undesirable situation for us is facing our long time, not so friendly person in our life, right? Then we know we are feeling uncomfortable. So how do we identify, right? Most of the times, it comes out as emotions for us. Maybe one is anxious, maybe one is angry, right? So identify those symptoms that are occurring within oneself. So once we start identifying, this is what is happening to me. Sometimes you might even cry, sometimes you might be angry at somebody. So you come back to your home, write it down, journal it, find out what is it that is causing that emotion for you to come out. Is it that you don't like the person? Or is it that you have resentment that you have piled up that you haven't expressed? So it's not by putting off things, it is not by not confronting your problem we'll solve a problem. Let's say me and my kid have a problem, right? So if as a teenager, if she starts running away from what I'm trying to say and going and sitting aside, doing whatever she needs to do, then there's no opportunity for me and her to interact, right? But in mode of goodness, let's say I call her and I'm like, okay, let's talk about it, Dipti. I know you have a lot of assignments, but can you also help me with these things at home? Then she is like, Mama, I have, I'm not feeling so well, I'm tired, I've done so much in school. So then there is an possibility, then there's an interaction, then I'm like able to understand where the person is coming from, and then I'm able to give her an opportunity to take rest and then help me with the chores, or for today it's okay, Dipti, tomorrow. Something like that, right? So let's give ourselves that opportunity to face that undesirable solution instead of just blocking ourselves from facing the reality. Because the moment we start ignoring one problem, another problem comes. Most of the time we have seen, if we have not faced that particular problem in life, it keeps occurring to us again and again and again. Have we experienced it? Maybe one day we don't do assignment, right? then and we do it in the last minute. So again we'll be faced with another assignment, right? In 2 days' time will be one more assignment. So 3 assignments have now piled up, and now we have to do it all in one go. Whereas if we start, even though we know it is undesirable, let's start to give an attempt to finish off the assignment. Then you're like, okay, at least half or 3/4 assignment is done. Then we are like, okay, one more assignment has come, but only quarter to finish of the first assignment. Second assignment, I can take it up. So similarly, one anartha at a time, right? Now I might be a very angry person. I might be like 95% angry on somebody. Tomorrow I might be 92. In 2 years' time, I might be 80. In 3 years' time, I might be 60. So slowly, it's not like anarthas can actually go off in seconds, right? How much have we accumulated? From how many millions of births we have accumulated? Only by Krishna's mercy, only by Guru, Sadhu and Shastra's mercy, only by chanting, only by devotional activities, we will be able to get rid of these anarthas within us. So what are we to do? What should we be doing to get rid of anarthas? Sadhana. Chant, read, service. How can we easily get rid of anarthas? By getting remnants from advanced devotees, and by serving advanced devotees, we can advance. Yeah. So, yeah, why in troublesome times we shouldn't impulsively, clutch to external fixes. Okay, today there's a problem, let me ignore. Let's focus on our internal growth only, and we often look up to God as victims. So many times we look up to God and think, why me, Krishna? Why are you making me go through this so many problems? But actually Krishna is giving us an opportunity to learn and evolve from that situation. So everyone will go through problems. Is there anybody who's not gone through any problems in life? None, right? So we will have problems, we will go through problems. The wise souls will learn to grow through the problems. For example, in initial days of establishing ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada went to the West. In 1965, he was in New York. So what are the problems that he faced? He first couldn't find an apartment to stay. If he found, it was a very small office. He couldn't cook properly. He had very little money. He only maybe ate one meal a day. He couldn't find anybody to preach to. For what he had gone to the West, he couldn't find, in so many months, he couldn't find anybody to preach to. And he was even robbed. His only possession was a typewriter and tape recorder, and that got robbed. And one point, his roommate was mentally unstable, and Prabhupada had to flee away from that place. He had to run. He had nobody to look after. But despite all these trials, he still wanted to stay, preach to the non-devotees, and establish ISKCON in the West. Right? And so if he had thought, okay, I can avoid the situation, I will go back to India, then we wouldn't have had this ISKCON all over the world, right? So we shouldn't eject ourselves from those difficult situations. Rather, we should encounter them, and failing to learn and evolve from them only is a problem. It is not that the undesirable situation is happening is not a problem. But if we fail to learn from the problem is when we put ourselves in difficult situation. So we talked about Prabhupada. How about his followers, right? Let's also talk about his later stages of Prabhupada, where, while building the temple in Juhu, what situation he didn't meet, right? So Prabhupada he couldn't buy the land, he couldn't build the temple in time, he was refused the land for a lot of reasons, but he didn't refuse the mission, and he didn't take that external obstacles as a problem and derail his enthusiasm. Whereas what did he do? So he said that the mission should go on. We should preach what not. It's not the structures which is going to define us. It is the preaching that will help us move forward. So he carried on. So now coming to disciples of Srila Prabhupada. We could take His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj for example. He continues his service despite all the health struggles. Stroke happened, transplantations happened, not one, multiple transplantations, skin cancer, like that, kidney problems. Every day, every year, now and then, he has to go to have checkup. But what is he doing there? Caring for others, right? He might be giving comfort. He might be encouraging the staff to take up Krishna consciousness. He sets an example and gives direct spiritual support to those around him. And he is somebody in his peak of his health also. He might be traveling from one country to another. When he is not so good also, he is traveling. So people wonder, how is he able to do that? Right? It's only because of Krishna and Prabhupada. And if we take Devamata Maharaj for example, he has done underground preaching behind the Iron Curtain, right? So 8 years non-stop. And what were they doing? They were doing secret bhakti service, like they were distributing books. And it was high-risk area. It's, Eastern Europe. It's a communist bloc. So people are not normally allowed to do this in open, right? So, but they still do it. If we see Radhanath Maharaj as an example, he would have hitchhiked. He would have started with no money in his pocket. He hitchhiked and he comes from US to the East. For what? To learn about the spirituality. Right? In his journey, he has faced a lot of problems. And how many countries did he have to hitchhike? Europe, Middle East, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan. So many places, right? So you name it, there was a cholera epidemic in Turkey. He had to face this. What he didn't face. If we go through this Journey Home book, then we would know how much he had to face. He was also stolen. Similarly, we can see in Jananda Maharaj's example as well, that he would be called a lifetime Sankirtan devotee. He has been always distributing books. He has done book distribution where? In the coldest regions of the world. Even if nobody is there, he would single-handedly go, take the books, carry. If he have to travel in trains, if he have to go by himself in bus, he would do it. He doesn't need anybody. So all these examples show us what? It's undesirable, so we just have to stop ourselves, or what should we be doing? They show us that yes, undesirable situations, worse situations, calamities have come to them, but still they will try and face it. They will overcome it, but they will not flee from the battle. Right? So they keep showing us how we should also live our life. So we can also take whatever small, little steps in progressing our bhakti to help us not run away, but face the reality and learn from it. So maybe, think about it, maybe if Arjuna had fled from the battlefield, what would the world call him now? Right? A coward. So we don't want to be that sort of people, because we have Krishna with us, we have a Guru, Sadhu and Shastra with us. So why not face the problems in our hands? And slowly and steadily our anarthas will be out. And once our anarthas are out, then we become a very nicely packaged gift that we can offer for Gopinath. Right? That's it for today. Thank you. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to share. Yes, Mataji. How can we try change a system which is not in the mode of goodness? A system. Like you, for example, you meaning the outside of the community or within the community? Yeah, yeah. So we have identified the lack, right? So we have identified there's lack of knowledge. There is lack. Most of us are in the mode of ignorance and passion. So what can we do? What do you think we can do? We have identified it. So what can we do? Yeah, so we have to educate them. People outside are doing the same thing, and we are just inside. We have just started our journey, right? As I said, we have accumulated this over millions and millions of births, the anarthas. It's not just from this birth. We are talking about others. Is that important to talk about others? Because outside is always going to be a mess. We are in the material world. Are we expecting perfection in the material world? It's supposed to be imperfect. It is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is supposed to have miseries. It is supposed to be problematic. So the only thing that we can change is, yes, right? Right? That's how much control we have on others. So we have very, very little, even on my kids, I don't have much control. On my spouse or my parents, do you think they'll listen to me? I can tell them this is right, this is wrong. But we are talking about other people. It's very hard. If we try it, we will definitely fail, for sure. We can only help them to address certain things by... No, yeah, sometimes we can't help. But if we can and if we want to, we can pray for them for sure. Yeah. Tolerate. No, suffering is a choice. If we want to, we suffer. Suffering is a choice. It's how you take it. So if you want to suffer, we suffer. If you don't want to suffer, we don't have to. We can talk about it. All right. Yes, it is hard. Definitely hard. I agree. All right. Any other questions, comments? Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Yes. Very true, very true. What Mridula Mataji is saying is, if we have an undesirable situation, link it to something which is favorable and make this unfavorable favorable. So it's basically a dovetailing. Let's say, for example, I don't like bitter gourd, right? So then how do I make it palatable? It could be that I may be adding some sweet. It could be that I'm maybe adding sourness to it. So then I might like sweet, so I might add sweet to the bitter gourd and start tasting it for a little bit. Then whatever is unpalatable also becomes palatable, right? Give it a. Huh. Perfect. Yes. What Mataji is saying is all Prabhupada disciples didn't think of this calamities as a problem, whereas they thought of it as an opportunity to serve Krishna and the community. So they had taken it upon themselves. Yes, if they had to, they could also find fault with a lot of things, right? This temple is not good, this place is not good, this bed is not good, I'm traveling so many places, why is the aircraft so bad? Or if, let's think about it, like if I was Prabhupada, how will I deal with this devotee? Will I see the anartha in this person, or will I see that this person is causing me suffering? It seems I heard in Mahavishnu Maharaj's lecture, Prabhupada's door will always be open. His cabin in those days will always be open. Anybody can come in and go and tell their problems to Prabhupada. It seems, because those days it was hippies, right? So a girl and a boy would actually have this drugs, and then they would also walk into Prabhupada's room and they would start talking. And Prabhupada will actually tolerate it for some time, and then he'll say, okay, let's talk about it tomorrow. And then he'll guide them to go out. So as you said, tolerance is very important. And think about the situation like how Prabhupada would deal with it. Will Prabhupada try to put this person down, nail the person down, or would the person try to see something good in this person and uplift that person and engage them in some service for the deities? So if we try that, then I think it is possible for us also to take out that little bit of anarthas from us. Not little bit of anarthas. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Hare Krishna.